Bill's coming in.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Of course, typical Zoom, I have it on my laptop and I log in and it goes, oh, you need to update this because it's not up to date. Oh, my God. So it's up, but I'm still on my phone, so we're good to go. Is everybody here?
Bob's still not here.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe this thing will be updated by the time Bob gets here and I can get on to.
That picture looks fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But I was going to use my phone to look at all the stuff we got to look at and have
Got
the
it.
computer.
I will bring it up so that you guys can view it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully that'll won't make you be looking in three different places.
Hey, Charlie, did you find anything out about that Churchill's Lane thing?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Didn't I get back to you on it? Looks like
No,
Joanna's joining
I'm
us
still
too.
waiting till tonight.
Oh, I thought I sent you back that no permit.
Okay. All right. Because it was weird. Like three people sent me emails over the weekend. So this guy must be, and one of them included that Facebook post that I did to you. So I don't know whether I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing at night, but they're all like, does this guy have permits? We don't see any permits in the window. And so was building department going to do anything? Did you ask them or?
Yeah, they mentioned there's a guy in there that does compliance, and he was gonna I think take a look at it. Uh,
Okay. All right.
yeah, and I let Curtis know about it as well.
Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah,
Is
yeah, I
Curtis?
think I sent you an email. I apologize if I didn't.
You know what? It was a really busy afternoon. You may have, and I maybe didn't see it. So, and I just kind of put it out of my mind, and I thought maybe we would just touch base tonight. So,
Got it.
it was just so weird how like maybe I can do my computer now. One was like Tuesday, one was Thursday, and one was like Saturday. And I was like, wow, that's really weird.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what, people, if there's a pile of stuff out there or a dumpster, people notice it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Bob's here as well. Joanna, are you here with us too?
Hi there, I am. I'm actually just in the car, but I thought I'd dial in just to see if you had any questions for me about the one item on the agenda.
Outside of trying to squeeze it in, I think I don't know if anyone else had questions at all.
And that was on which one?
That would be for, hold on one sec here. I'll share my screen. So Joanna had some, I think mostly old items to be taken care of here. So there's basically three items,
Okay.
and you'll see here that fiscal 16 taxes that needed to be cleaned up, fiscal 21 as well, and then fiscal 23.
All right. So we could just make it official. Can you just say, Charlie, we started the meeting at 6:04
Yep, that's fine.
when Bob joined? Okay.
Hi, Bob, by the way.
Hello.
Our treasurer, Joanna, has joined us for a moment too.
Excellent.
That's okay. I'm in the car for a while, so I don't have to be a moment. So don't accelerate anything for me. I can chime in when necessary.
No. We can go through this. So did everyone get a chance to take a look at this at some point today? I looked at it a little while ago, maybe like an hour ago. And I think
And,
it's
and Charlie,
Joanna.
I do think that there were some other ones too, Charlie, right? That your team was working on?
Yes, the ones that Curtis had gone over after I sort of started it and then gave them over to Curtis after. We'll be going over those.
Okay. Joanna,
Perfect.
did
So
you
yeah,
want?
I would just say in like a quick overview from my perspective is that two different types of situations, but in reality, kind of the same thing. We've noticed in our collection system that there are some uncollected taxes that didn't seem to make sense, or some different balances that didn't seem to make too much sense. The thing on that Charlie had shared, the email I sent to him earlier today, were really just kind of old legacy things that were hanging out in the system. And I think, although I can be, I'm not quite sure of the process around this, but I do believe that if we deem them, if you deem them to be abated, then we can kind of make it so, and then remove the fees and the interest from the receivables end of the system as well. And then I would say the other thing that Charlie was just talking about that he and Curtis have been working on are some places that we identified some breaks in our assessment to collection process this past fiscal year for the actual cycle. And it largely stems from things that are converted, whether it's a two-family property converting back into a one, or vice versa, right? And
Yeah, condos converting back to a two-family.
right, exactly. Sorry, yes, condos converting back to a two-family, right? But or vice versa, right? A two-family converting into condos. And one of the things that I'm hopeful that we can do collectively as a shared team is kind of look at this process in such a way that we get ahead of this, knowing that there's some likelihood to instances like these with future development happening in town. So I'm here for questions if you've got them. Let me know.
Okay, so this seems pretty straightforward, though, that the 3032 Lothrop, it was condos and it went back to being a two-family, but it was after July 1st based upon what you sent out, right? Am I correct in that?
Yeah, so that one is this one up here, Bill.
That's what I'm looking at, yeah.
Yeah. So, basically 30 and 32 Lothrop, they were split into condos. And basically this item right here would be, this is the before. So this is what Joanna would have had on the books. And this is what we said that it should look like. And pretty simply, you'll see that C1519 has in quarter 3 and 4, 4,158. So that's like the catch up where the information will catch up and bill for a full two-family. And what happened was Curtis kind of wrote all this out here. There were sales that occurred after July 1st of the year, and they got split when or got put back to a two-family from two condos. So basically what we did is this here would be the billing for the two-family, and then you'll see that we got rid of that and put the billing back for the condos. So in that case, that one looks like that.
Okay, so it should be assessed as
Two condos still.
two condos still, because
The sale happened after the July 1st of the year. And so that it got split. I should say it got moved back into a two-family, and it shouldn't have really been, that shouldn't have really happened.
Okay, so it didn't sell as condos, is that?
They actually sold as condos, and I believe that it's kind of interesting because in one situation, the person, and you can see kind of what's happening up here, but it seems like the people probably that bought the condos may have also lived in the two-family prior, and then the person that bought the two-family knew the people, and when they bought the two-family, they converted it back into condos with small selling prices.
Okay, so it's kind of just like a paper transaction, so everybody owns their own piece of property.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, okay.
So
Why don't
one of the reasons why we had a conversation about it is because the end result did change the overall assessment. So I think that's why it's coming to you, right? Obviously, because you'll see on Charlie's spreadsheet here that like it decreased the assessment by a couple $100 in this instance.
Yeah.
Yep, and you'll
Yeah.
see right down here the difference. So there's $666.66 less taxes. And then over here for the CPA, there's $12.30 less in taxes.
Okay, so we just need to abate the taxes that were established for the property as a two-family dwelling.
Yep.
Okay. Do we want to cover all these at once, guys, or do you want to do vote on each
And
one?
I just want to explain that if you don't mind me hopping in, just the quick
Yep.
piece of the way that this translates to us, and the reason why we kind of raised our hand to the office across the hall with Charlie and his friends is because what ends up happening was when we received the information in our system, we sent out a bill for that two family versus a bill for those two condos, right? So we have not billed this amount to be collected yet. So we want to do that as soon as possible, obviously. So that's why we're kind of elevating this at this point in time.
You haven't sent out a bill for the condos, Joanna, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We got to do right where Charlie's got his mouse right now. We got to put that, we got to send out bills for those two parcels because they didn't receive any because there was to us.
I think we lost you there for a second, Joanna, but you said you didn't receive any, but
We kind of, so we did not bill out those two parcels because there was no amount due at that moment.
Okay.
What the information we received showed an amount due on the two family.
Okay.
and if it's okay with the board, what I can do is just fill out a form and just stamp it with the assessors if you guys are in agreement.
Yeah. So does anybody have any questions about this one?
I'm sorry, I found it a little bit confusing, but essentially, it was a two-family, and then it converted into two condos, and now it's going back to a two-family?
It was actually two condos, and it got converted to back to a two-family, Bob. So you can see right here, this is the C1519, and this is the billing for the two-family. And you can see the condos are ending right here. But really what's supposed to happen is the condo should have been billed all the way through the year. And it was really just because the sale occurred just after the July 1st date, but they got converted back to a two-family.
So it was a mistake on our end that caused.
Yeah. So this one here is the before, in which case you'll see that the two families being billed $8,316.39, and just whatever was left of the condos is being built here. And then down here, there's no billing for a two-family, and we fix this to bill the two condos again. And then next year, it'll get turned back into a two-family again for this fiscal year, right, that we're in right now. Make sense?
I think so.
Yeah, but we still have two separate owners.
So yeah, here there'd be two separate owners. These two folks right here, they would have been owners here as well on Q1 2025, but then a new owner popped in up top here, and that really shouldn't have happened until this fiscal year.
I think to answer your question, though, in terms of like people, they are not two different people because one person bought the two condos and then made it a two-family. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, all right. So it sounded initially like it was sold as condos to people that they knew, and it was still condos, but it's really the same person bought both condos and no longer desires it to be condos and next year we'll go back to being a two-family. Okay.
Correct.
It was a little confusing the way it was written up, because I was kind of a little confused like Bob was. That's why I was asking those questions, so.
Got it.
Okay, so I guess what we're voting on is to abate the two-family assessment currently and make it just be assessed as two condos.
Yeah, so this would be current and this would be the new down here. Yeah,
Okay. All right, so I'll make a motion to abate the assessment of the two-family dwelling to the two-unit condominium dwelling, which subsequently for next year will be back to a two-family dwelling. Correct?
Yeah. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, let's go.
okay. And then next one, same type of thing, 7 Tucker, 2 separate condominiums reverted back into a two-family. However, Tucker should have continued to be taxed as 2 separate condos for all of FY 2025, again, because the sale occurred afterwards. And if we move down here, this is really the kind of the meat of it right here, and it looks the same kind of as the other one does. You'll see that this is the two-family right here. These are the 2 condos, and you can see that they stopped, but the 2 condos really should have continued all the way through the fiscal year.
Okay. And is this the same situation where the same person bought both units and?
Yeah, well, same person, yeah, but bought the two-family, yeah,
Yeah, so instead of being 2 condos, they want to make it a two-family.
exactly.
Revert it back, okay.
Yeah, and you'll see
Okay.
here, converted to two-family on August 27th, 2024. So again, it got accidentally converted back to a two-family when it should have been this year and not last fiscal year.
Okay, all right, so the same thing. Okay, so a motion to revert the abatement, to make an abatement for 7 Tucker from 2 condos back to a two-family with the same scenario as Lothrop, to make it back to a two-family for the next fiscal tax year.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And was there one more?
Yeah. Oh, no, actually, there's only 2.
There's only 2. Okay, so that's that. Okay. Good.
So Joanna might want to just look at one more if that's okay with you all. This is one that she sent this morning, and there's 3 here.
Was it on the agenda?
It wasn't.
It's so this is a different level of urgency, in my opinion, to the ones you just did, because those were not yet billed, right? So we want to collect those amounts. These right here are just hanging receivables in the system that I don't think we're ever going to collect on. So I'd love you guys to take a peek at these and give, your opinion as to whether they're they should be abated or if they should be hanging out there. I'm a little stuck on these. I think in my message to Charlie, I said I don't have any recourse here because the parcels don't exist any longer. But there's no urgency on this one, so we can kick this to another time if you want.
I would just suggest, since it wasn't on the agenda, let's just bump it to the next meeting.
Sure, that works. Yep. Yeah. Thank you for your time thinking about the other ones, so I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, Joanna.
So I think the first item in that case, which will now be the second, is the home rule.
Charlie, why don't we do the easy ones? Why don't we do the other ones, the senior and the veteran and the deferral?
Yeah, that's fine.
In case you want to discuss this one a little bit.
Not a problem. So the first one, one item for these, and I don't know whether we want to do an executive session, but these ones do show people's salary, elderly folks. So what I could do is I could just stop, the recording, but we could still continue with the meeting.
For the next three?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I guess we have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the tax deferral, and the two veteran exemption and a senior, a CPA exemption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so let's
Okay.
just stop the recording.
So I'm going to hit pause on the recording. Are you seeing my screen right now?
I see an email message from Assessors copier.
Okay. It's not telling me that it's stopping recording. Screen sharing. So let me do this. You're seeing this
I
information
see
come up.
it still shows recording up. At least I see the red. It says recording on the upper.
Yeah, up on
This
the
is my
top
screen.
there.
Yeah, let me just see if I it's in a different spot here, I guess. So this is just my screen sharing that we're showing here. Okay, here we go.
And say,
And now
there you
we're
go.
now recording.
All right. So I don't know, did you guys know, I didn't know till I got the article, the warrant in the mail, that this was something that the select board had voted on. And I just thought that we should probably discuss it, or at least vote on it, that in case someone asks at town meeting, are the Board of Assessors in favor of this? There's no amount decided upon. I guess that's going to be up to the select board to decide that.
Yeah, I think there's an amount that the state allows, up to 100% match by Milton, and I think the state is like 2,900 or something like that.
But I guess the issue not an issue I had with it, but was because this isn't going to be reimbursed by the state, like the state senior exemption of $500, this is likely going to be spread out over all the taxpayers in Milton.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I think there is an estimate in here of how many people.
yeah, there is.
Yeah. And pardon me for kind of flipping through quick
It's
here.
just under like $500,000, I think.
Right. So you can see in here that let's see what we got. Tax across Milton about 259,000 with an average amount, which would be about $30 a tax bill. But that's in addition.
Right, if it was those figures, but it could be more because you could get more people,
Yeah.
that are eligible and apply for it. And then the other thing was also because we have this $9 million tax override on the table, that's going to play into this as well. So I just thought we just should discuss it, at least have, a vote that we're okay with, this type of thing, even though there's already the tax deferral, like we just voted on, and there's already a $500 exemption. I'm just assuming this will come up at town meeting.
Yeah, and I do believe that they started working on this last year when they did know that the override was coming, in order to give the seniors, the ability to kind of get their taxes lowered.
Yeah. Did nobody reached out from the select board or from the town administrator to see, like, if we had any input on this?
I can't say there's a lot of inter-office communication. So even for this, I did get on one telephone call. I think that's what I might have mentioned it to you, Bill, was when we got on a telephone call with a gentleman from up like in the Reading area.
I didn't know about it till I got the warrant, and that's when I sent you that email and we talked on the phone
Yeah.
about it. I knew nothing about it till the warrant came in the mail a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
So-
Yeah.
Charlie, can you explain this slide? Average assessed value, $1 million, average tax bill, 10,420. How do we get to 259,000? What?
I think that's the tax shift across Milton, because if you see here, there's a 2,590 is the maximum credit from the state.
Per person, per homeowner?
Per person, yeah. And
So we're assuming
therefore,
100 of these?
yeah, and so they're estimating, I believe, 100. I don't know if that's right in this area here.
And then dividing that by all the taxpayers in Milton results in an increase of $30 on average per resident or per home.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of assumptions.
That other slide, that was the thing, is the other slide said there was, it could be anywhere from 200 to 400 people filing, not 100 people.
They said they anticipate versus the amount of people that apply for the circuit breaker is in Milton is 415.
Yeah.
So they're anticipating that using this tax credit, anticipating use in Milton credit program, there would be somewhere in the range of 140 to 200 people filing for this one.
Right.
Now, why don't wait, the 415 who they're applying with they apply with the state for that, right?
Yes.
And what do they get by doing that? What are they getting from the state?
It's a $500.
They get a $1,129 tax credit per person on the circuit breaker.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 415 filers in Milton are getting a state credit on average of 1,129. And then if they do the extra and apply with Milton also, they can get more.
Yeah, and I think there was a reference somewhere that one of the towns that
Hang on.
Had more people doing the initial filing, not as many were filing for this locally, and despite outreach, so they thought they would do a little bit more for the outreach.
I mean, theoretically, the 415 who applied with the state should just do Milton too. Is there any disadvantage to them to doing it? I'm just trying to understand. Do they not know about it? Or
That would probably be the only thing, would be the outreach.
okay.
Or they're not eligible.
Yeah, they
They're not
did
eligible.
say, Bob, somewhere in the comments in the warrant that they didn't know why everybody wasn't applied, but it seemed like everybody in other towns, everybody had not.
Okay.
And
But I think the thing is everybody could.
Yeah. I mean, how come everyone knows about the state program and not the Milton program?
The
Is the
state
state
program's been around for a while, and so they're probably, and they're also seeking probably a professional to do their taxes. And
Okay.
that person's probably telling them what to do. And when you pay your property taxes, there's probably less. But, Bill and I will be doing something to the senior center in a couple of weeks. And we'll be able to talk about this at the time, so.
Now, I'm curious, so if this passes, I'm assuming that people will still be able to, seniors will still be able to apply for the one that's sponsored by the state, which is that the $500 one, Charlie? I think we talked about 70 years old and.
but the average was like, what
The
was it,
41D, are
90
you
or
thinking
something?
of, Bill?
Yeah, the 41B, right.
Yeah. So I believe so. Right now, the way things work there, and this is kind of the form that we have, but this is just the one that has everything on it. But the 41D is a $500 elderly exemption. So we will have to talk. I literally got this PowerPoint today. I asked for it last week. I was hoping to give it to you over the long weekend, but got it this morning. we'll have to talk to them about whether or not they can apply both for the 41D and for this as well.
And then I guess the other question would be, and then the whole tax deferral is all rolled into this as well. But I guess if you're doing the tax deferral, you're not doing this because you're just deferring the whole taxes. But
Right. Although people can apply for a 41D to take $500 off of the amount they're deferring. So they might be able to do it here. I'm writing these questions down, by the way, so I could ask Nick Connors about it tomorrow.
yeah. So what the max on this we think would be how much again?
I think it's this amount right here, the 2,590.
Okay. And then if they also do the other one, the 41B, add $500 to that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And that would be the max. That would be all they could apply for.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's because I think the way our guidelines were, or the way our rules were, our levels were too low. The whole reason we did that deferral, if you guys remember, the income levels were too low and all that. And that's why when we raised that, whatever that was, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever. So all right. So I just thought we should all be on board with this. If we're okay with it, and someone asks at town meeting, are we all in agreement that this is the board, was in favor of this?
Yeah, the only question that I mean, I think it's great. It's a good to give the seniors some relief, but what's the implication in the Board of Assessors office, and this, like, how many is going to have another 200 applications come in? I think the first year it's going to be a good bit of work for the staff.
We did have a phone call with an assessor, as I mentioned. It's Victor Santiello. I think he has like 2 towns that he works in. And he said that it wasn't that difficult to keep up on it, because typically you are going to still check with people, at least the new folks, on how much they make, etc. But there will be some work to it, definitely.
Charlie, is there a form already, sort of a template that the state may have or something? Because we're going to need a different form or some sort of a form.
Yeah, I haven't seen a form yet, but I've gone to towns where I've seen sample forms.
Yeah.
But they haven't been the same ones.
So that's a question for Nick as well, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I guess the last thing I had on it was the whole proportionally over all the residents, this being spread out. What's the potential blowback on that from everybody? I know they're estimating it's only $30, but
this estimate is based on 100 eligible applications, but over 400 applied with the state. So where did the 100 eligible come from? Who put this together? Did the warrant committee put this together?
I believe that the 2 Nicks put this together, actually. There was a comment in here that said
it follows pretty much the same format as the tax deferral thing for income and all that.
Right.
That we established.
I think there was a comment in here that even though people, signed up for the circuit breaker, that they didn't necessarily, that same percentage did not go for the other.
The article does say that there was a part of it that said that should a fund be set up, should be something be allocated, to cover the cost of these exemptions, or should it just be proportionally put out to the rest of the taxpayers? I think the final version of the article was to be spread it out evenly over all the taxpayers.
That's what it sounds like this was saying here too.
Yeah.
This here was used for the select board presentation.
And who proposed this? The two Nicks?
Yeah, I remember Nick Milano mentioning this like a year ago, that he'd start working on something, and then Nick Connors came on, and I think he kind of inherited the job. And yeah, they made that presentation. I think the presentation was August 27th.
I really wish they had come and talked to the board.
Yeah.
And you might want to bring that up to Nick as well. This is probably something that should have come by the board before
Sure.
they did all this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering where all these statistics and assumptions came from.
I think it's all from the state. It's all from the other towns. There's a list of towns that do it, so I'm sure that
Yeah, the
data from
list of
that.
towns right here. And I think it was Wakefield and Reading is where that Victor Santiello is from. And they have it running right now.
Well, there are a lot of towns in Massachusetts, and this is a very small sample of all the universe of towns.
Right. Yeah, there's 351
Yeah.
cities and towns. So, and just an FYI, there's another thing that Nick C asked, was they wanted to put together a kind of like a front end where you could say, what are my taxes going to be with the override? And Alan Bishop was the one that was asked to put that spreadsheet, put that kind of front end together. But I went up and talked to Nick Connors, and I said, there's a lot to this. What, using the fiscal year 25 information and costs from Amy and all that kind of information. He didn't actually even seem to have a complete knowledge of how he wanted to do it. So I think there was going to be some more discussion on it. And I just sent him my notes as to what I would consider. You want to make sure that you're doing it on kind of an even situation where, if it is 25 versus 26, when it's going to kick in, understand the differences.
Yeah.
Right. So, are we looking for a motion to?
No, I wasn't looking for that. I just wanted to make sure that we were kind of all knew about it, and we're all sort of in agreement that that we're in favor of this in case someone asks at town meeting. I mean, I guess we could vote, just say, but
my concern is it just where we're just are we buying into these assumptions? Are we comfortable that we're not? What if the average tax bill increase is not 30, if it's 150? Or I guess it can't be, but I'm just kind of saying, $30 per household is fine, but as we said, how much is the $9.5 million override going to raise each property tax bill if that happens?
right, exactly, and that's why I wanted to go over this, because I think it's going to be, if that passes, that's going to be huge. I mean, I wish we had known about this before, so we could have kind of maybe worked with them to do it. But do we want to go to them and ask them to maybe pull it off the table right now? Ask the select board to maybe rethink this, for maybe kick it down the road till the regular town meeting.
So this puts a lot of power into the select board. Annually, they determine the percentage.
Yeah, that's what I said. I wish that we had known there was going to be a flat $1,000 or $1,500, you know?
And now, like, so the match that the select board determines essentially says, well, how much of the eligible senior participants, how much of a break they get on their taxes, and how much of that gets spread over all other taxpayers. And the percent match, it's not like it's between 0 and 100. It could be 0 to 1,000,000% match, right? I mean, there are no boundaries here. They could say, we're going to do a 400% match of what the state does. Or is it limited to 100?
I think it was
Um,
100.
I believe it's
It said in there
limited to
somewhere
100.
Okay.
Yeah, it said
I want to
100.
make sure of that. All
It's-
right.
Yeah, it's 50 to 100 match, 50%
Okay.
to 100% match.
Okay.
But again, whereas the 41B, the state reimburses the town for that $500, that amount of money. This here isn't going to be reimbursed. It's going to be, again, spread over by everybody else, unless they decide to establish some sort of fund to cover that expense, which
It's they. And
the
what
town, town.
Another
Well,
tax?
so my next one was fiscally right now. I don't think we're in that position to do that if we're looking at a $9.5 million override. So I don't care if we say we're against this. That's fine. I just thought we should talk about it because I think it will come up at town meeting, and you know how things are. Well, how does the Board of Assessors think about it? What do they think about this? And I have no problem one of us going up there, or myself going up and saying, we talked about it, and we're actually there's not enough information. We're sort of opposed to it. But we weren't brought into the discussions of it in the first place. So if we want to say we're against it, that's fine. I don't care. I mean, in a way, to be honest with you, I'm kind of a little bit against it because I think there's too many unknowns.
Yeah, I don't like yes, the open-endedness of this. And we have, I guess, as we say, we keep hearing about a $9.5 million override. And so the two Nicks came up with this? Is that what you're saying, Bill?
No, Charlie said that.
Yeah, as far as I know, it was the two Nicks came up with it.
On their own, there was no input from the select board or anything like that. They just sort of.
I think this was a presentation to the select board here. I don't know if they got any, any initial feedback from the select board. I can't say that they really included me on this either. So,
well, I mean, it was a select board that's petitioning. The select board put this in the warrant. I mean, they support it.
No matter to me like it wasn't their idea. It sounds like it was the two Nicks' idea.
Yeah, but they had to buy off.
Had the whole idea.
But isn't it? I think it's a fairly new program that's kind of that the state is offering.
It seems like, it seems like it might have come about as a result of the override to give people. I think in a couple places it says people that can live in place, without getting their taxes increased to a point they can't pay them.
Right, which is fine. I mean, we're always trying to help, the seniors, stay in their home and all that stuff. But back to Bob's point, I think there's a lot of unknowns in this. Again, we don't know what the amount is. We don't know how many people are eligible or will be eligible for it. Is it going to be like the tax deferral where we only have a handful? I mean, how many deferrals do we have a year?
Yeah, probably like 6 or 7.
Right, less than a dozen. But again, that's a different situation where you still owe that money down the road. This money's you're exempt if you have a $10,000 tax bill, and the select board's going to waive $3,000 of that. That's $3,000 that the rest of the town is picking up.
Right.
If there's no fund established.
Yeah, I still think it's a good avenue for seniors to like they say, age in place. These people have been here for 10 plus years. They're paid in. They don't have any. They don't have any kids in the school system. There's no drag. So I don't know.
I agree with you 100% on that. I just, again, it's the not knowing the amount. And again, dispersing this unknown amount over all the other taxpayers that are already paying their taxes. I wish we knew more. I wish there was more certainty about it, more definitive numbers.
And so, uh, uh, this presentation, the select board means for it to go to town meeting members, or the next.
It's an article. It's Article 5, I think, if I pull my book.
Okay. I looked at it when I got it in the mail, and I remember seeing this, but so this is going to be presented at the town meeting to kind of explain the article. Is that what we think?
I think this actually went to the select board.
Okay.
It was a presentation that probably the two Nicks did. And I had asked Nick Connors, whatever information he had, I'd like to get to the board, Board of Assessors. So I got it this morning.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I feel like we're coming into a conversation that started some time ago, and we don't have all the background to understand how it was initiated and who the key players are. Yes, it's an admirable goal to help Milton senior homeowners. Our goal, yes, this all is great, but what's the upper limit? And it all gets spread out to the rest of Milton taxpayers. There's just some uncertainty there. So are we, and we're being told it's going to be $259,000. Is that the midpoint? Is that the outer limit? Is that, that's a real low estimate? It could actually be $700,000. I'm just I know there was some basis for the assumptions in there, but I just don't feel great that it's 259,000. Maybe it's 100,000, maybe it's 400,000.
Okay, so I mean, again, I'm not looking for us to vote on it. I just want to make sure we all know about it, and we're prepared to maybe discuss it at some point at town meeting. And if we get asked,
what does this slide mean here in 2022? 415 filers, senior filers in Milton were, this is, if it's an average credit of 1129, that's a lot more than the 500. So, okay. And then we have anticipated usage would be between 140 and 200. So 415 filers, were they all eligible, or a portion of those 415 were eligible?
So it looks like they're getting this information from the Division of Local Services. So this is probably people that filed, 41Ds and things like that. But I don't know that for sure.
So 460.
It looks like about 468,000, money
so,
was.
yeah. So that divided by 415 is 1,129.
Yeah.
So, and who paid for that in 2022? Was that was the state?
Yeah, like 41Ds and things like that. Those go to the state. Unless, of course, you change the amount that you were putting in. 41Ds, which is the elderly exemption, it's $500 for us.
$468,000 a lot higher than the 259,000. So if in 2022, I just don't know enough about how it all ties together. And
well, this would be the income restrictions are lower on this, I believe, Charlie, than they are on the new plan that they're trying to put in here. And actually, this is the 41D is age 70. Am I right?
Let's see here. So the 41D is you must be 70 or older as of July 1st. Single is anywhere from 34,000 to 55,000 for income. Married is 50,991 to 59,895.
Right. So with the new plan, it lowers the age to 65, but the income levels, it greatly increases them.
Yeah, income for a single is 72.
Yeah.
Joint is
Potentially have
109.
more people eligible for this new plan. Which is why we did that whole tax deferral thing years ago. That's the reason we did it, because so many seniors made more than they were eligible for that $500 41D deferral exemption. So
Yeah, it does lower down to 65 for the age.
yeah, but it ups all the income. So you're going to have more people eligible for this because you lower the age and you up the income.
Yeah,
You know, again, not a bad thing, but so many unknowns about we don't really know how many people are going to be eligible for this, and we don't know what the amount's going to be.
right.
You know, is the select board going to cap it at $2,500 period across the board? You really can't do a percentage. That's not really fair to everybody. It really has to be a flat number.
Right, and they did put an amount on the house as well.
Yeah.
Even though it's not like your house gives you the money back, but that must be the average value.
Do these? That's quick question. Well, we probably don't know the answer. Do these other towns that have enacted this? How's that money that's exempted spread out? Does the town just eat that? Is it like they're trying to proportionally do it to all the other residents in the town? I saw like Concord was in there, Hingham was in there.
Yeah.
How do those towns do it?
Yeah, I could ask that question and try to get back to you.
Hingham, Norwell, like Melrose. There's some pretty high-priced towns there.
Right.
So how does the exemption work in those towns? Who is it spread out to all the other residents, or does the town have some sort of a fund that they use to cover that?
Got it.
Where does that fund come from?
I'll try to catch Nick tomorrow and ask him that.
And these are important things. This is really stuff that I think this is potential questions I think people might ask at town meeting, but I think it's questions we need to be able to at least say we talked about it if we don't have the answers to it, because it's not our article, you know?
Right.
So maybe we walk away from this just saying, the board couldn't come to a decision whether to, agree to this or not. There's too many unknowns. What do you guys think? Again, we don't have to. I don't want to vote on it. I just think we should be able to talk about it if someone asks us at town meeting.
Yeah, that's fine.
We haven't come. We're not in agreement on it. We think there's too many unknowns, and we don't necessarily not support it, but we can't say we support it. I think maybe tomorrow I might reach out to either Rich Wells or maybe Roxanne Musto and see if I can get a little info from them. This almost sounds to me like it's something that should be extended out to the regular town meeting in May. So, you guys don't mind if I do that, do you?
No, I don't.
No,
That's fine.
All right. Well, that's it. I just thought I thought we should know about it. We should talk about it because it kind of caught me off guard when I saw the article and I read it. I'm like, what the hell is this? So, okay. If there's nothing else, I guess. You guys want anything else?
No, Charlie, do we have to stop in and sign those what we passed today?
Either that, or if you didn't mind me just filling it out for Barbara and stamping it, whatever is best for you folks.
That works for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind stopping in the morning. I come up tomorrow and sign. But if you guys, I don't know, if you're not available, you're busy, that's fine. We can just do that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm around. I can stop by tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'll stop by in the morning and, we don't worry about Bob's got to go to Rhode Island, I'm guessing.
Right,
Going to
right.
Providence.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll only need the 2 anyway, so.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, I'll let her know that too.
So I guess we can adjourn. It's like 7:01.
7:01.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys.
Have a great
Enjoy.
night. Thanks.
Night, everyone.
Take care.
We'll see you later.
Bye.